Marshall in the middle.
I remember even years ago, my girlfriend was there. She married a military guy, and they were in Hawaii. And she was telling me even back then, I mean, we're talking 10, 12 years ago, that milk back then was like $5 a gallon.
Oh, it's like $7, $8 now.
Oh my, well,
Well, you can get you a
crazy.
peanut butter and jelly sandwich from the shop right in the hotel for like $8.
Oh my goodness.
Or you can go
I
buy a
think
loaf of bread and some peanut butter and some jelly and pay about $20 and make you about 10 sandwiches.
that's what I was just about to say. I think I'd have stopped at the store on the way.
Well, even outside, even if you go outside, they had Targets and they had Walmarts, but everything's still crazy expensive.
Oh yeah,
It doesn't matter.
overpriced. So what are we talking about today, William?
Yeah,
Well, what I figured we might talk about is what y'all wanted me to talk about. Like the next time that we got together was we were gonna watch that video and talk about that. We could do that, or we could do whatever it is. Whatever it is, this is called Miracle Talk with Denise. So you tell me what you want to talk about. Is there something you want to
Oh
explore? You know.
no, I think that you ought to go with what you had planned, Joe. I mean, what do you think?
Oh, I don't. Hey, I'm game for whatever.
Yeah,
I've got
me
I've
too.
got questions just as well as you do. I'm sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm fine with whatever you guys feel like doing.
So let's. So do you want to start with a couple questions, or do you want me to try to set the stage and tell about what happened, and then we go from there? How would you like
And
to
so,
lay it out?
so the question of me, I've got questions in between, but I'll just get my questions out there, and maybe you can start from the beginning and work your way through it. So, what made you pull over to the side of the road? That's the first
I,
question.
I don't remember pulling over actually.
So you don't even remember pulling over.
No, I don't. I like now. I don't remember pulling over.
But you end up pulling over right where
That sign was
that sign mark or that marker was.
right.
And once you pulled over and you went through that experience, you can talk about everything that was going on during that experience, or you did kind of talk about that. But uh, my question is, what made you decide to turn the recorder back on? Was it recording? You must have been recording while you were driving, is what I'm trying to figure out. So you were recording while you were driving, and somehow it stopped recording, and you started the record button again when you come back to from the
Right,
experience.
right. So I was driving down the road, and I said to myself in my head, I said, I can feel something big happening. I don't know what's happening, but I can feel it. And I turned off the recorder. And then the next thing I remember is turning on the recorder. I remember turning on the recorder. Like I woke up and said to myself, you want to record this. And I somehow manipulated it while it was still in the mount. And
Right.
then once it recorded, you can see me whatever I did. But
Yeah.
but I remember in my head thinking, you want to record this, just like I was thinking when I was driving away. I was talking to Tina about things that day, and I told her I wasn't much of a surprise her and told her that she needed to come pick me up off the side of the road, that I was choosing not to drive anymore, that I understood that it was not a requirement for me to live that I drive. And of course her and Hunter, jumped in the car, immediately came to get me. you know um, my mom and dad and daughter saw the video that I'd posted on Facebook after I kind of came to and was sitting in the shade. I forwarded those videos to Facebook, and And so then, of course, everybody that knows me sees me coming to. And I think I posted that to my stories. And if you don't know, posting something to your stories, like everybody sees it. If you're not a story person, you post something to your stories the first time, and everybody's like, wow. And so I had people that, saw me come to that didn't know what was going on, right, including my daughter. So everybody was confused, which, looking back on it, was a great thing. It was a good thing. Uh, to Not because I scared anybody, but just an awareness that a massive event had happened in my life, something that had never happened before. And
But why were you recording driving down the road anyway?
well, that was
I
something
didn't
I've
get.
been
I
doing. Yeah, so I've been doing
Oh,
that for months.
So
You know,
Will's been doing that whether he's in his truck or he's on his golf cart. He's been
right?
doing that for a while, so I could see where he was
oh,
driving
that's
down the
true.
road recording. Now, what I
And
don't
your
understand is
drones.
how, yeah. So what I don't understand is how it turned off. The recording turned off, and then you had to turn it back on. It just it boggles my mind that
No, I turned it off. Like
oh, you
before
did
I
turn it
pulled
off.
over, I was like, if you watch the video, the whole one, and there's actually two videos prior to the last one where I kept getting interrupted. And but at the end of that video, I said something to the effect of, I don't know what's going on here, but something's big's happening. I guess we'll see what's happening. I'm changing my mind about what I'm doing with my whole life. And I turned it off. And then the next thing I knew, I was parked, and I was deciding whether to be born again or not. I realized that where I was, and I realized that I was in heaven, and that I was seeing heaven in front of me, and that I could very easily enter it and be there. And but as I moved out, I realized kind of two things at once. I realized that I really was in heaven. That there was no there was just a changing of the mind that showed me what heaven really was. And then once that I did that, then I realized that I absolutely wanted to come back and tell all my friends about it, and not go to heaven friendless. That would not that would be like awful. Awful was not my feeling. And so, like I kind of stated, I came back. As I woke up in my head, I thought, and I was massively drowsy, but I definitely remember, this is not magic. It didn't happen by magic. I'm telling you, I pressed go on the video recorder as groggy as I was, and continued being groggy as I woke up. But at least at some point through that, I was coherent enough to restart the video. And I have all of that raw data uncut. Uh, but you hear me going on about, like, tell Rogan, this is how you do it. What you have to do is decide differently. You have to change your mind about who you are, what you want. And as you change your mind, then you'll see the veil. The thing that was huge for me, looking back on it, was my understanding, because I had used LSD and mushrooms, was understanding those elevated feelings, right? Our body, the A Course in Miracles tells us time and time again, your body will tell you whether you're inspired or not. Do you feel joy? If you feel joy, then you're close to heaven. Like, are you holding a child? If you don't feel joy while you're holding a child, something is wrong with you, right? Because of the innocence that you're holding. My point in that is that your body will teach you over time. Like I told you, I knew something huge was going to happen. My body had those feelings. Now I have taught myself how to transmit goosebumps. If we're together, me and you, and we're close, and we talk about a few things over time, I can transfer my feelings to you, right? And over time we can sync our minds. And you do this with your loved ones all the time, right? You spend so much time together that your minds are absolutely synced. I mean, just so friggin' synced that it's crazy. And those are real things. Those are real miracles. That's how it works. That's what it's about. And heaven isn't heaven is here. Heaven is choosing now. That's the only heaven you're going to get on, like we're thinking. The heaven that we were brought up to think about is the church fooling us from way back when, okay? They don't mean to. They don't
I
know.
have to interrupt. I have to interrupt. I have to
Sure.
interrupt. I think maybe your experience made you realize that we need to act as if we're in heaven. I think heaven, in my opinion, and this is how I was brought up, and this is how I believe, heaven is sight unseen. We don't know what heaven looks like. That is something that is beyond our belief, that our God has, He's exposing miracles to us every day, but can you imagine all the things that we don't know? So I think maybe during this experience, you learned I need to treat people with love as if I'm in heaven. I need to love unconditionally. And I think that what you're saying is so true and so real, but I still do not believe that we in our world live in a heaven, because if so, I am severely, sadly disappointed, because my view of heaven is with my dear God Jesus, to where there's none of this pain, there's none of this suffering, there's nothing. So I view what I appreciate and love your time and the things that happen to you and the depth of it. But I just sometimes I just to me this is not heaven.
Yeah, you keep doing the same thing I'm doing, Diana. You're going back to the way we were taught, and I understand. I have that same struggle, and
I can
I guess I guess the experience that Will has had, we've just not seen it yet. And yes, there is a heaven up there, and maybe he's seen it, maybe we haven't. And
no, I agree.
he's saying it's right here on Earth. Well, he's making the best of what he's got left of his natural life in this body that we've been given, and
Oh,
the spiritual side of him has come about. Now, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's what Will's trying to get at.
no, I agree. I think that we'll experience something that not everyone gets to experience.
Right.
I think that we all, have that special gift. There are people that have the ability to actually conversate with people that have passed. I believe that. I mean, I believe all of us have a gift, and God shows us things in our lives. And I definitely agree 100%, and love Will, and love his story, and love what he's going through, and love what he's feeling right now.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, only thing we could do is be envy of the fact that he's seen it. We haven't. And
Yeah.
uh, yes, I got to continue to believe that Jesus Christ, our Lord, is our Savior. And I believe the acts that Will is doing right now is what needs to be done, but everybody needs to do it. And unfortunately, we can't control everybody's thoughts and actions. But we can enjoy what we have on this earth if we continue to lead in that example that Will has seen. You follow what I'm saying, or am I just going in circles?
Oh, I'm following what you're saying. I mean,
I
it's
mean,
kind of,
it
and
doesn't hurt us. It doesn't hurt us, nor are we going against the Bible by saying, "Hey, we should be kind to others." We should. It's all in the Bible
I don't,
already. So
I don't disagree. I
yeah,
agree 150% with that.
yeah,
And I think that we need to do that, and we need to live as if we're in heaven, and always give and love and be kind to people. I'm with you. I think Will had, a special experience that has deepened it even more than just the, give goodwill and treat everyone kindly and love everyone.
Absolutely. So I
Yeah.
guess we're all in agreement at this point that what is experienced is it's not common, at least not in
Yes.
my eyes.
Mine either.
But there are miracles around us every day. We just got to choose to see those miracles, whether it be waking up in the morning or taking your dog outside to throw the ball to them.
I agree.
You're making
Having a
somebody
roof
else
over your
happy.
head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Having a
Just be,
roof
just
over
be,
your head, being able
just
to
being
help other
thankful.
people.
Yeah, just being thankful, and I guess that's our way of being blessed. We're able to give back, and we're able to have that open mind and be able to figure out what's going on.
Marshall in